this edition of Forgotten Liberty Radio. I'm John. I'm joined, as always, by our studio crew, Pat and Aaron.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Pat.
Missing our Matthew tonight. I just don't know where he is. He just couldn't make it today. People who have busy lives, I guess. I don't know.
He's an important guy.
It's not like we don't have anything to do, right?
Right.
Okay. And John is probably one of the more busy people I know. So,
but I'm here.
But you're here, Matthew. Anyway,
and when I was uploading these things, 1 a.m. wasn't an issue for me. I just stayed up until I got it done.
Well,
y'all got it on Saturday, no matter what it took.
Yep. Well, this younger generation, John.
Well, we all
gotta coddle them a little bit.
We all four apologize for the late Sunday release.
Yeah.
Some of you all look forward to that Saturday at the right time.
Yeah, it was kind of a silly one. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Anyway, that's sarcasm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Comedy,
it was
satire.
Fun. We needed it. So many serious things that we talk about. We kind of needed a little bit of a release and have a little fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about. Aaron, can you give us the subject? What we're going to talk about?
Sure. We're going to talk about the officer shooting of a woman and the subsequent settlement of $7 million to the family of the slain woman.
Who is? Do you know?
Well, we have to give some background on it first, don't we?
Let's do that.
Yes.
So, some time ago, a wife and mother was shot by a Stanislaus County Sheriff's deputy.
Maybe we should back up a little more than that.
Maybe we should talk to maybe say the names, mention their names.
I don't know.
That's not necessary.
I don't know that names are relevant.
Okay. All right. You're right. Because of how we're gonna approach the subject, I think you're right. Names,
while
this happened.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
While I'm sympathetic to the family's loss, the family, and the decedent, share some culpability in the situation.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't want to discuss the individuals, because it could have happened with any individuals. I would like to discuss situational aspects of this, settlement aspects of this subject. I don't want the family to feel they are being degraded.
Right.
I don't want to, portray anyone in a light other than how they acted and the consequence of their action.
There you go. There's always a consequence to your actions. Or there should be. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So now we can talk about what happened. Go ahead. Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay. Well, it seems that this woman who was apparently off of her medication had a little bit of a mental breakdown when which she entered a hotel, and began acting rather unruly and was asked to leave by the security guard, in which they argued, and she became rather belligerent, and from what I understand, she might have hit him, and then she left, and they had already called in to the police at the time, and as an officer was responding, he saw her pulling out of the parking lot at the time, and what ensued was a low speed chase, complete with signaling and all that, stopping at stop signs even. So anyway, it kind of went on for a little while until she was blocked off at an intersection, partially, where she could still get out. Unfortunately, what she did was she backed up, pulled forward as the officers were around the car, and as she was pulling away, one officer unfortunately decided to shoot her. He shot, I believe it was 4 times, and hit her, and that was the beginning of the problem.
Oh, how many times he shot her?
I thought it was 4. I thought during the video it showed that he shot her 4 times. Well, no, he shot into the vehicle 4 times. I don't know how many times he hit her.
How many times he's doing this all because of the chase and his defense. What was his defense? That
she was
Ethan.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say that he thought he was, I don't know if he wasn't anywhere in any danger. She was going away from him. She did back up, didn't hit the vehicle behind her, and then they were all to the side, so nobody's life was in danger at the moment. That's
what the facts have shown.
Yeah, in the video, it's apparent.
I'm sorry. Let me just ask you. I think he said that he feared for his life, didn't he? Didn't he say that he feared for his life or something, and that's why he? Okay,
I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I should have.
That's what I thought. I thought I had read. Anyway, so let's get into what they. This was the city of Modesto.
Mm-mm.
No, it wasn't. It was the
sheriff.
Stanislaus County.
Yeah,
so here's what goes
ripping
on. There's this hotel over here off of Pellendale and Salida. I don't know if it still is or not. Used to have been a Holiday Inn Express, maybe something else today.
I believe that's still there.
So anyways, what it is or where it is not important.
Not important, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, we in no way are sponsored by Holiday Inn Express.
No.
We do not. This is not an advertisement for them.
They don't leave the lights on for you either.
No.
We don't. We're not advertising for Tom Baudette's favorite establishment either.
So go ahead.
If they'd like to contact us and drop us a dime, we'd be happy to accept funds from each of those organizations. But at this time, we do not currently have a contract with them.
True.
Here's the situation. Regardless of what happened at what hotel, there may or may not have been an altercation. Someone may or may not have called the sheriff's office. So, what I read in the Modesto Bee was that there was a $7 million settlement because a woman had lost her life. And the events leading up to that settlement are, upon being dispatched to location, a Stanislaus County Sheriff's deputy witnessed the described individual leaving the hotel, initiated a pursuit or traffic stop on that individual. Regardless of the individual's mental state, medical status, whatever, doesn't matter. So this person doesn't pull over right away. Ripon PD gets involved. Okay. What's taking place is there is Ripon PD dash cam footage, okay, of this pursuit. The footage that was linked to the article on Modesto Bee's Facebook page clearly starts after the parties, okay, and the sheriff's deputy in Stanislaus County being one of the parties enter into San Joaquin County, okay, because Ripon is the lead pursuit department in the video.
Because they were in
because it's their county.
Because they were in San Joaquin County.
Regardless, I mean, the Stanislaus deputy has jurisdiction in the entire state. Okay? It just so happens that Ripon PD's video, the Ripon car is right on this individual's bumper.
Okay.
Okay, so you see You see all those officers are wearing, PD blue or, black, whatever the case may be. What color you want to call it, we don't know. Hardly any of these police departments wear navy blue anymore. So
Mhm.
it's a dark colored uniform anyhow, which, okay, those are the PD. And we have to mention that Ripon Police Department in the city of Ripon has chosen not to settle with the family. Okay. They get this woman, finally get her stopped. And like Aaron said, if you watch the video, she's using her turn signals. She's stopping at stop signs. She's executing proper driving technique.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's not speeding. She's just not stopping for him.
Right.
And look, OJ didn't get in trouble because his homie didn't stop for the police. You can go to your destination as long as you're obeying all other traffic laws. The only thing they got on you is the initial reason for the stop.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if you drive them from Modesto to Los Angeles. Yeah, okay, so they're going to try to get you on resisting, obstructing, or delaying. But
that's not the case here.
Well,
I mean, that is the case. That is the case here.
Yeah, what we have going on here is
obstructing and resisting.
Well, I'll get there. So she stops finally. Most of the vehicles, patrol units are behind her. One patrol vehicle, Suburban or a Tahoe, a Chevy SUV looking vehicle, pulls up and partially blocks the front of her vehicle. Okay. Mistake number one. She's already drove you all the way into another county. She already has not yielded to your request for her to stop. And you're going to leave her vehicle a way out? Seriously? I mean, Ripon and Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department, you think these guys, these are professionals. They do law enforcement for a living. They initiate traffic stops for a living. They initiate stops on criminals for a living. And they left enough room behind her vehicle and enough room in front of to the side of her vehicle for her to continue on.
Mm.
That's not the issue here. Well, it is the issue because if these professionals
had done their job
that we're told are trained to a specific standard, post certified police officer standards training, certified men and women in the state of California. They are trained to the state standard. Okay? And they deal with individuals in these situations on a day-to-day basis. Okay? But I'm not here to discuss whether the training is adequate or not. It obviously is not.
I think it begs the question, should there still be extra training for dealing with people with mental illness or who are mentally ill?
Well, at this point, I don't
you
think
don't know
that
she's mentally ill.
Well, that's what it was reported.
Well, it was
but that's after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know. I understand that, but yeah, you're right. There was no chance for them to de-escalate the situation.
Okay,
That's a good point, but at that point they didn't know. They just knew that this person was not complying with their.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
So here it is. I got lights and sirens on. I'm behind you. You don't know why I'm behind you. Okay. Speaking hypothetically, Aaron has violated some law or is assumed to need to be talked to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I try as a presumed officer of the law, which I am not a officer of the law, okay? Hypothetical. I try to initiate a stop on Aaron. Okay? Aaron decides he's going to take me to the next city, which happens to be in the next county, which, I mean, literally, that's regardless, because we're literally like, all this is happening in less than 5 mile, radius.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Aaron already doesn't want to stop for me because we've been like 2.5 miles down the road. He's had multiple opportunities, a lot of safe, well-lit places to stop. Now I have another jurisdiction with me in the pursuit. We finally get Aaron stopped. Aaron finally decides to stop. Okay. We're all out of our cars. We're trying to get Aaron to roll his window down, talk to us, comply with our requests. But Aaron has plenty of room to maneuver around our vehicles. We've parked our vehicles in a manner in which someone who is known not to comply is able to, once again, not comply. Is able to, once again, vacate the scene.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So this is what happens in the video. The Ripon PD patrol units aren't close enough to her rear bumper. The Stanislaus County patrol vehicle, let's assume the unmarked SUV in the video is a Stanislaus Sheriff patrol vehicle,
right,
is not in front of her vehicle in such a manner as to prevent her from going forward and leaving. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have about 3 or 4 individuals in the video, like I said, in dark, what we assume is police department attire. And we have one individual at the driver's window in khaki and green, olive drab, which we assume is sheriff's department attire. Okay? This sheriff's deputy is accused of unloading his service revolver into the driver of the vehicle. Now, when I say unloading, I don't know that he unloaded the magazine into the individual. I saw the video. Typically, these guys are trained to shoot, ask questions later.
Right.
I mean, that's what we see. And in the video, this woman backs up and it's pretty obvious to me that she checked her surroundings. I mean, there's plenty of time that she could have looked in her mirrors if anyone else saw the video. I mean, looked in her mirrors, checked to make sure she wasn't going to hit a car behind her or an officer.
Yep.
She backs up, she pauses, and she starts to take off. The car is in motion, and a Stanislaus County Sheriff's officer in the driver's window, bang, 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 in the head.
Well, like you said, you don't know that all of those went in. Did you see it? Did they all those bullets hit her?
A bullet went in her head. I will tell you that. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but you kind of made it sound like there was 4 shots directly.
Well, Aaron said 4 shots. I never said. I just said that they
bang, 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 bang. That gives me a visual
and I don't
of
know.
many
Okay,
more
just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, there you go.
In the time,
I just want to be
in
clear.
the time he was drawn down on her and sidestepping with the automobile as it's rolling away. He had ample time to get multiple shots off. But here's the problem.
Okay, go.
How many other people's lives did he put in jeopardy because he decided to shoot at a woman in a moving vehicle?
Are you saying that there's a possibility of ricochet of the bullets hitting someone else, or she?
No.
What do you?
If
think?
I run you over with my car, what are the probability of you surviving?
Probably pretty high.
If I'm in my vehicle and I'm leaving, and a police officer shoots me in front of your house, and I'm dead behind the wheel. What's the probability that I could hit your home or take out your fence? There's a high probability of collateral damage that officer did not even take into account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's
why
the problem.
Did that happen?
Well, why it didn't happen is because I'm going to assume this officer is a younger man than I.
Okay.
I'm going to, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. Anyway.
it don't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. That's kind of a silly question, but yeah.
He left an opening.
Yep.
Or one of the officers involved left an opening for her to back up and leave.
And that was their mistake.
Here's the issue I have. Stanislaus County decided to settle with the family for $7 million. Number one, why are we doing this? Okay. Why does every citizen in Stanislaus County not know this happened?
That they settled for $7 million?
No, well, that this incident even took place.
Well, it was on the radio. I remember when it was on the radio.
Okay.
I remember
it was
them
on the radio. But
I remember
people
I
don't
remember
know now.
I remember seeing it in the paper. It was news at the time.
Right. Well,
Okay, so you can't people knew about this issue. The thing
but
is,
people aren't.
why?
My point is, people didn't know enough because there's no outcry about it. There's no one.
Yeah, there you go.
There's
Why
no
is there
one
no
saying.
There you go.
Well,
Because it's being hushed.
Here's an interesting bit of information. Okay, in a motion, this is taken from insurancenews.net or .com, and it says in this article that in a motion to contest the settlement agreement between Yediger's family and Stanislaus County, the city of Ripon contends that $7 million is far too low a settlement, particularly because Wall was charged criminally, in which he was charged with voluntary manslaughter.
And Wall is the deputy.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned his name. I'm just going off the article here. But the city's motion.
It don't matter. There's a video showing what he did, and I'm telling you, any clear thinking adult individual is going to say that this man, okay, and this is my firm belief, committed premeditated murder.
Well, anyway, let me finish this article here. Okay, and it says the city's motion said similar cases have settled for $16 million, and Ripon believes that all the fault lies with the county and the deputy, which is probably why Ripon decided not to settle.
They didn't see any fault.
No, it lies all
in how they handled it.
I don't see any fault in their officers' actions either.
No, I don't either. But
no.
In March, apparently recently here in 2019 March, a judge determined there was enough evidence for him to go to trial.
Enough evidence to hang the son of a from the county seat from either in 1010 Street or right in front of the courthouse. I'm telling you right now.
Why do you think it was premeditated? I mean, you know what? I have to tell you.
You know what?
I did not see the video because I could not. Modesto B would not let me watch that video.
I know. I hate that. Here's a teaser on Facebook.
Yeah.
Read this article. Oh wait,
you got to subscribe.
Wait, we want $1.99 a month for you to see this.
I already don't get.
I got news for you.
I know, so I could not watch that video. I apologize.
Hey,
guys.
McClatchy Papers. You know when you do that to us, we just find somebody that already subscribed.
Well, yeah, I could have. Well, anyway,
dorks. Anyways,
so,
this is well.
You call it you
premeditated murder
because.
Because when someone is seated in a vehicle, okay, and that vehicle is at chest height to the driver's head, and you put a service weapon or personal weapon, a handgun out there, and your finger's on the trigger, well, you get to make a decision,
right? But premeditated murder is murder one, and that was I don't believe that he was driving that SUV and deciding he was going to shoot her.
Yeah, there had to be a plan.
Right.
Yeah,
wait a minute. He's a professional.
True.
Okay.
So does that
and he knows what happens.
I just
I
don't.
don't see it.
I don't see premeditated
I
murder.
do.
No, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
we're going to just have to disagree with that.
Yeah.
We're all going to have to agree to disagree
But
on that
it's not
one.
manslaughter. It's not accidental.
Well, no, it's not. You're right.
They're calling it voluntary manslaughter.
Right. There's
And I'm gonna
enough
tell you
blame for
right
her
now-
also. There's enough blame to go around.
Exactly. And I said in the beginning,
Right. That there was blame to go around.
okay, she needed to yield to the lawful request of the officer.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Now she chose not to, and there are ramifications for that. Okay. Are those ramifications death?
No. Apparently, well, that's why he's been charged with. Why they've gone ahead and charged him.
Has he lost? Is he in jail?
I don't know if he's out on bail or no. Actually, he's been charged, so I don't know if he's been arraigned and out on bail. But
that information hasn't been given out yet.
I have not found that information.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell us
Maybe
what
not premeditated. I'll give you the not premeditated, but it's absolutely murder.
Well, I'll give you that.
Not manslaughter. Because manslaughter
Right.
is something that happens that you have no control over.
Right.
Okay.
You're still responsible, but you don't have. Well,
There's two manslaughters though.
Yeah,
There's
no.
voluntary manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter.
okay.
So this is voluntary I'm just assuming that's why.
Okay,
none of us are lawyers, but yeah, go ahead.
Here's my point.
Okay.
Here's my point. This man is supposed to be trained to the highest standard that the state of California has set forth for police officers, right?
Right.
Right. That's
This
scary.
individual,
Mm-hmm.
okay, pointed a deadly weapon at someone who, in the video, obviously made sure that they were not, one, going to damage city, state, or county property, okay?
Mm-hmm.
While in non-compliance with the instructions of the officer, backs up, pulls forward. Clear thinking individual, okay? Because if she wasn't clear thinking, she would have just put it in gear and took off.
Right.
But she puts it in gear. Right?
Right into reverse.
Yeah, she backs up
Just enough. So
just
she doesn't
enough
hit
to
the
get
car.
around the front of the truck in front of her.
Right.
Puts it in drive and takes off. Okay. So I'm standing there as a professional, clear thinking individual. And my reaction to that is to pull a service weapon, point it at her driver's window, and shoot her?
That's
Why? Because I think I have a justifiable reason to kill her. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, he went, she's moving her car, it's a deadly weapon, and I can use deadly force. I can use lethal force. And
mm-hmm.
okay, for a couple of generations now, we've taught these kids, and when I say kids, I mean people 10 to 20 years younger than myself,
Mm-hmm.
who are in fact old enough to be officers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 22-year-olds are old enough to be police officers in this state, and if it's anyone from 22 to 32 years old, I'm telling you right now, those individuals, for the most part, have an outlook of there are no repercussions for my actions, number one. And then if you put an individual like that has that mentality, that's been raised with that mentality in a position of authority, such as a sheriff's deputy or a police officer, and you give them a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
which I suspect this is the case. Can you find how old this officer is?
Sure. He did look young, though. You're right. He looked young.
I'm
but let
telling
me
you
find his-
right now, this individual
Mm-hmm.
didn't act in a lawful manner.
It certainly
Law
didn't seem
enforcement
so.
officer or not, this individual.
He didn't act rationally. I'll put it that way. He wasn't rational.
I expect that behavior.
You do expect that behavior from your police officers. Exactly.
I expect
from any officer, I should say.
Well, no. I expect, okay, a younger officer to have this point of view. To have the point of view that I'm saying.
Okay.
That they are above the law because they are a law enforcement officer. You know what? These kids grew up with movies like Judge Dredd. I am the law. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. Well, they ain't.
So you think it's more of an educational problem as well as a societal problem? Is that what you're saying?
I think societal problems, which we face on so many different levels with these newer generations, mm-hmm. okay? Mm-hmm. And when I say newer, I mean, the 20-somethings or the 30-somethings on down, mm-hmm. okay? Politically, socially, responsibility-wise, they just have a different view.
Well, you don't say you're not putting everybody into that.
Not every individual in those age groups,
right?
But
a lot of them.
Even Matthew, mm-hmm. Mid-20s would tell you the same thing, that generation. Not all of them are like him. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are have that viewpoint that they have personal responsibility. Okay.
Well, that's true. I think, but I don't think you can say that.
I watched the video. You didn't see the video, right?
You're right, but I can't. I don't know that we can say that about just this generation because I know that there, people
right?
who don't.
No, I understand, and there may be some officers my age or your age
exactly
that would have that same type of view. Okay, but.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on that. Just pick on them, and I understand what you're saying, John. I do, and it is a society. That's a whole nother subject we could talk about. I mean that this younger generation. What kind of old people are they going to become? That question I was thinking about.
Well, regardless
of that,
I'm thinking this individual is in the age ranges I've given. Okay?
Probably.
Because I've spoken with officers in that age range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's like...
See, I haven't. I really haven't. So you have a little bit of an
and I see... Look, we got a situation there in series where there's some newer officers.
Mm-hmm.
And in discussing situational aspects of things with mm-hmm. them, it's like, well, you're right, that's the law, but these things have to happen before we can enforce the law. No, dude, this action is a felony, okay? And regardless, you have to act upon it. That's state law.
Yeah.
Well, but are the elements of the crime being fulfilled? Dude, I mean, really? What? Somebody graduated you with a post certificate, so you think you're intelligent now. You know what I mean?
So
and then I watch that same individual drive however the hell they want to drive. Because why? Why does a police officer just drive however they want to drive while in a patrol car? Well, because they're the cops and they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to drive how they want to drive.
I think if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing, though.
Right, but okay. But you don't have just because you're a police officer in a patrol unit with, blue, red, and amber lights on it doesn't give you the authority to violate, the California Vehicle Code. Okay, there's only certain circumstances.
Liberties. I mean, gosh.
Well, but there's only certain circumstances in which you're allowed to do certain things.
I would think.
And I'm saying that the exact individual that I'm referencing
mm-hmm.
that tells me certain things in series drives like, a donkey.
Okay.
And And why does this individual do that? Well, because he thinks he is the law. He thinks he's above the law. He thinks, and I got to tell you, he's much younger than I am.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not exactly sure where you're coming, where you are with this. Are you disturbed with the idea that this man? I understand that you'd be.
Well, number one, I don't like him being in on the negotiation, and the article clearly said he was involved in the negotiation. Well, first of all, you know what?
Hey, let's get back to the subject. Okay, go ahead.
If I got an employee, okay, that ran over a customer's gate, okay, first of all, I mean, a gate and a human life are two different things, but I'm not going to have the employee that ran over the gate negotiate with the customer on what we're going to do to fix his gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason for that employee to be involved in the discussion on how to make the customer whole.
They might tell their part of the story, but that's about all they need. That's about all the input they need.
Yeah, but see,
in the situation, they'd be deposed beforehand.
They do need to be deposed.
We're past that point.
Okay.
We're in a pre-trial settlement negotiation.
And they're negotiating.
Why is that deputy in the process?
Right.
Doesn't belong in the process. No. Okay? Especially, hey, the family is alleging that this officer acted in above and beyond his authorized capacity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay? That this individual acted in a criminal matter. Why is he there negotiating with the Ripon PD? Right? Or the city of Ripon and the county of Stanislaus. Why? Because he's the one that did it?
Well, what role did he play in these negotiations?
It doesn't matter. Shouldn't have not even been included.
No, he shouldn't be in a negotiating
manner. No. But if he was just there to answer questions, I don't know.
There's no questions to ask. There's a video.
Right.
So
there still has to be.
Well, you're going to depose him.
You
do have to be deposed.
But in a settlement situation, this is a settlement discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is the deputy there? Why is he not sitting in a jail cell or at home on an ankle bracelet?
Right.
Okay. Just because you're a law enforcement officer doesn't give you the right to kill anyone for any reason that's not pointing a gun at you.
Correct.
Or threatening your life. And I'm telling you right now, if you're at the driver's door, what's the most that can happen on the left side of the vehicle? You get your foot run over. Well, that's not a lethal assault. Number one.
Right.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay. And use of force.
Mm-hmm. Use of
isn't equal to the risk that person's putting you in.
Right.
Yeah. I think we agree he made a very poor decision.
Yeah, but why?
Man committed murder.
He did murder. There was a murder.
This is not voluntary manslaughter.
Well,
I believe being the fact that he's a deputy sheriff and his prior record may be the reason why.
Care what his prior record was. I don't care what his position was.
Well, I'm just saying
it doesn't matter that he's a deputy sheriff or not.
Well, I'm just saying that because I think that because he is who he is, he's not charged with murder because he had every right to be there, but he made a bad decision.
Okay, but let's look at it here. As a citizen, if I know law enforcement is trying to get this woman to talk to her, I have every right to detain that person too. It's called a citizen's arrest. Do I have the right to shoot her in the head?
No.
No.
And neither did he.
I have a higher standard than what they're applying to that man. And why? Because he's a police officer? I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm. Well, so then they come up with this $7 million settlement, which is probably coming out of some sort of an insurance fund, or I'm sure that they haven't. I apologize. Where did that money come from?
That's a good question. It doesn't necessarily say in this article here.
No.
That's something that they didn't really put anywhere that I found.
Well, anyway, if it's insurance, if it's some sort of a fund that they have set up, it's just going to raise those. If it's insurance, it's going to raise those.
There's got to be some kind of liability insurance, I would imagine, maybe, right?
Probably, and that's going to.
No, it's a fund.
Is it just tax dollars,
and
yeah, it's all tax dollars.
Oh, I know that. Tax. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, consequently, we're the ones paying for this.
I'm sure there's a line item in the budget for
this
legal
kind
settlements.
Of right.
I was thinking it was more of a fund than insurance. But that's just going to raise. There's that thing that kind of makes you a little bit angry as well, and this is a sad situation all the way around.
Yep.
There's nobody who's winning on this.
No.
So anyway, anything else we need to say on this subject? Because it's just sad, and it didn't need to happen.
Right.
Did not need to happen. The man, I'm sure that he mulls it over. I hope he's got a conscience about this. And if I apologize if you do have a conscience on this and you're really upset about it, I'm sorry for you. But if you don't, you're going to get what you deserve.
Well,
anyway,
here's the bottom line. Roughly 548,000 people in Stanislaus County.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of that $7 million settlement.
Did you just do the math?
Yeah, I did. The husband and son of this lady are going to get $12.75 of my money. And $12.75 a year money.
Well, they're going to pay they're going to pay their attorney.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't care.
Okay.
But the point is, I pointed a gun at no one,
mm-hmm.
and I shot no one in the head at point blank range through their driver's window.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it costing me any money?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
It should cost me $0.
Well, that's not how our society works, unfortunately, anymore.
Right.
Well, but as a citizen of this county, that's coming out of our county budget, I'm sure, somehow, in one
mm-hmm.
form or another.
And I think, yeah.
That's $12.75 for me, $12.75 from you, $12.75 from Aaron and Matthew and everyone else in this county.
Mm-hmm. That's...
including the members of Stanislaus County for State of Jefferson, and ain't none of them talking about it.
Why isn't anybody talking about this?
Huh?
That's a good point. Here we go again. We're complainers and we don't do anything about it.
But I tell you, I could buy a pretty nice lunch for $12.75.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You
could.
could.
But you know what? I'm out a pretty nice lunch, or I'm out a movie ticket.
Right.
Yeah, that's a movie ticket. Right
because this individual officer chose. Now listen to me very clearly.
Yeah.
To make a statement to that woman right before she passed away that I am the law and you will comply with my wishes. You will not leave this scene. You will not leave this scene. Okay? And while that individual is entitled to due process and entitled to a jury of his peers,
mm-hmm.
I don't want it to come down to a situation like Scott Peterson's trial did, where it gets moved out of county, where it's not,
Because he
married
can't-
men with children on the way judging this guy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Grandmothers and grandfathers can't put themselves in this man's situation to decide where his head was.
Because they haven't lived that? Because they haven't lived the life of a
because-
young man? Or
Well,
I don't understand what you mean by that.
I think the jury on this guy needs to be law enforcement officers or people with an intimate knowledge of,
So has he gone to trial?
I don't know.
Didn't state. Just as recent
I
as
don't
March.
think I wouldn't even be I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Would
He's
he
probably
even go
out.
to trial?
Oh, unless
'Cause
yeah,
he's been charged. I mean, he's been charged with,
yeah. So he'd
with
have to go to a
voluntary
trial,
manslaughter.
right?
So
Unless he pleads
Well,
guilty or no
unless
contest.
well, even so, okay, you can't even plead no contest because the judge is gonna say, okay, I accept your plea of no contest, and I'm gonna assign trial date for this time
sentencing trial.
because
right?
it's, well, no, he's gonna get a trial because it's felony. They'll make him have a trial.
they will.
Okay, you
Well,
can't
what-
even straight up say, "Yeah, I did it," anymore, because the system is screwed up. But the bottom line is, these are professionals. Okay, they
Right.
got to have insurance. Doctors got to have insurance, and I think one way to make these victims whole is to make these officers carry insurance policies.
Personal?
Personal insurance policy.
That's not a bad idea.
A malpractice insurance policy. Mr. House, as a veterinarian, Dr. Ted House has to carry malpractice insurance as a veterinarian.
Well, any professional
Right?
has to do that.
Our dentists have to carry malpractice insurance, chiropractor malpractice insurance,
Well, and as a matter of
medical
fact,
doctors malpractice insurance. Why do law enforcement officers not have to carry
well, my
malpractice
my
insurance?
son who's a PCA also has to carry an insurance policy for that.
Professional insurance
Professional
policy
insurance policy for that.
to make
Yeah.
his customers whole
Correct.
in case he makes a mistake.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is to save John's $12.75 and Pat's $12.75 and Aaron's $12.75. Why are our
That would be
legislatures?
some really good legislation.
You know,
that would be really
if
good.
they actually represented our interests,
Golly.
Yeah,
huh?
that's
Here we
true.
go.
Everything comes back to
Representation.
well, and well, let's just talk about legitimate regulation. Okay, legitimate
okay.
regulation.
Okay, well,
Because
Is
that's
that another
commerce
story?
within the state. We're paying these individuals to enforce the law, right? It's a profession, and most professionals have to provide insurance. to
I
keep
think
their
that
clients whole.
that this whole conversation led to that, and I'm really glad because I think that is definitely a good point. And legislation to that would be. It certainly would make it. It would seem that it would make them more responsible.
Right.
Perhaps.
Well, it would be great to put that before the assembly people and the senators and ask them to put that on the ballot because they can do it for free. But how many people? How many people in this state would affirm the requirement for law enforcement officers to have to carry insurance?
You mean how many people would be for that?
Right. Now
I would think a considerable amount. I mean, I would say I would think probably more than half.
Well,
I mean-
vocalized properly and discussed properly as this is a professional insurance. just like everyone else has to carry, right?
Huh.
But our government would never put that before the people in a legitimate manner. The summary and fiscal analysis on that would be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that a law enforcement officer would have to carry an insurance policy would have to cost the state billions of dollars, right?
Oh God, yeah.
So I mean, whatever.
But it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. But yeah, you're right. It probably would never go. Yeah, it's okay. So anyway, that was a good conversation. Should we just call it a wrap this up? Or do you want to go on to another discussion about something else?
Well, we could start something else, but I mean, it's not. We're not gonna. We don't have enough time to go into it.
No, we don't.
To discuss it thoroughly, we're not going to have enough time.
No.
We got a good long show as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, right now there's all kind of things happening. The Supreme Court heard arguments on DACA.
Why don't we talk about that next time?
Yeah, we should.
A little teaser for next week.
Because our Attorney General was there.
Yes, in all his glory.
Bracera. He was there, and the Attorney General for the state of New York, and these men are they're representing their states.
Yep.
On this DACA issue.
Supposedly.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
there
necessarily
you go.
so, though.
Little teaser for next week. We're going to talk about the DACA arguments going on in the Supreme Court.
Well, back to a citizenship question, huh?
Yeah, looks that way.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. So anyway, join us again, guys, for another one next week. And should we say goodbye, John?
We can say goodbye.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye, Aaron.
Goodbye.
Thanks,
Pat.
everyone, for listening.
Good night.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast player of choice. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, or your podcast player of choice. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review where you can. We'd really appreciate it, and it actually does help our ratings. You can find us on all the typical social media, Twitter, Facebook, even some alternative media such as BitChute and Gab. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Forgotten Liberty Radio is a production of Forgotten Liberty Media. The views expressed by the host or guests in any episodes may not necessarily reflect the views of Forgotten Liberty Media as a company.